Unfortunately, there is an advantage to having high information voters and high propensity voters. And that's what the Democratic constituency has. They have a core group of voters who are very intense, very specific about voting, are on top of all this stuff. The Republicans have a wider, slightly, a group of voters who know less. This is just data. I'm not maligning anybody.
But that was on exit polling for why, Trump won in 2024 and why how the midterms in 2022 weren't indicative because high propensity voters turn out for that. A lot of people just came out for Trump and left the rest of the ballot blank. And when you look at, factors that cut across those low propensity voters, it's usually people that are lower information. The exit polls get a majority of their news from social media or don't consume news at all.
We know that people who don't follow politics will more than likely vote for Trump.
Yep.
However, the other day in Pennsylvania, there was a couple of, one was a House race, and one was a state Senate seat. In the state Senate seat, it was a
plus Trump, 15.
Trump had won by 15% in just, 6 months ago. And a Democrat won that seat by a hair, but that's a 15-point swing. In the House seat, the Democrat had won, or Harris had won, I think by, I can't remember what it was, 8 or something to that effect. And there was another. And this person, this Democrat who won in that seat, won by like 23. So that gives you a sense of and it's a very rough thing, and it's almost, the perception that it creates is almost as important as the reality of it. But it has got the Republicans panicked. On Tuesday, there is a incredibly important Supreme Court race in Wisconsin. We had Ben Wickler on a couple of weeks ago to talk about this. Voting is open in Wisconsin. Go and vote right now. Hang up your radio or computer and the phone and go and vote right now. Make sure you vote in that race. And in Florida, there are 2 House districts that were vacated, one by Matt Gaetz because he had an invitation with prosecutors, and so he had to leave. Mm-hmm. And the second was Mike Walz's place. And Mike Walz, who knows how long he'll be around these days.
Right.
These 2 seats, Florida's 1st and 6th districts, they're slam dunks for Republicans, except for maybe the next week.
There's been some polling that shows that particularly in that 6th district, which Walz vacated, is that basically it's within the margin of error that Democrat is polling. And that Democrat's name is Josh Weil, running against, I can't read my own handwriting, but a Republican in that district.
And I just want to make this clear. This is not speculation on our parts. This is, or to the extent that it is, here is evidence that the Republicans are very, very worried about this. Elon Musk is going to Wisconsin and offering like $1 million to anybody who signs his petition or something like that.
That's legal in this country.
And I don't know how worried they are about Florida, but they are worried about these seats. And Elise Stefanik, perhaps one of the what's the word for least integrity? Is there a word for that?
I mean,
craven.
Yeah, one of the most craven members of Congress, maybe politics. She has just gotten off her final Instagram tour, reminiscing on her congressional career.
Oh, it was such
She was
an honor.
touring her district, say goodbye. I was part of the Republican House leadership, but now I'm moving on. I'm going to be the ambassador to the UN.
To bigger and better things.
And you know who, that is like a huge step. If you want to go from Congress into the presidency, what do you need? International relations. Nikki Haley, before she, ruined her chances of going further in the Republican Party by having brown skin. Elise Stefanik is looking at that. That's the ticket for her. Bye-bye, Congress. I'm leaving, except what? Pennsylvania? Go.
Congresswoman Elise Stefanik joins me with more. Congresswoman, you know, a lot of people praising your action today as selfless.
I just want you to look at this. Whenever you see a politician come on with a smile that seems to be literally surgically implanted on their face, you know they are enraged and upset because their people have said you cannot let anybody see that you're upset about this. So put on a huge smile, and you can tell, like the strain in her upper lip is so intense in making sure that those two corners of her mouth do not drop.
It's actually good news. It's actually good news.
It's based on my birthday today.
Oh my God, this is exactly what I wanted. I can't believe it. This is like 45 level chess.
Congresswoman, you know, a lot of people praising your action today as selfless, as really heroic for the agenda of President Trump. I want to pull up this razor-thin House majority. This is what we were looking at here. 218 to 215 is the narrow majority, 218 to 213 rather, which means Republicans can only lose 2 votes on any given piece of legislation. A senior White House official told our Peter Doocy that when you look at this seat that you are in could have been vacant for most of the year. We don't have time to waste. They were referring to Governor Kathy Hochul, who is no friend of the Trump administration and would like to hold your seat open as long as possible. There were a lot of political realities at play, and I'm hoping you can take me behind the scenes into exactly how this transpired and what the thought process was.
Well, thank you, Kaylee. First of all, I was honored to have earned that nomination by President Trump, and I'm proud to be one of his top allies on Capitol Hill. This goes back to fighting against the witch hunt impeachment. It goes back to being the first member of Congress who endorsed him, as well as leading the charge in so many ways to combat anti-Semitism, which of course he is taking action on today. I know the stakes as an elected representative for New York's 21st District and as a previous member of leadership in the House that we need to secure the border, cut taxes, unleash American energy independence, and deliver these historic results on behalf of the president because of this tremendous mandate that the American people gave him. So I have been proud to be a team player. The president knows that. He and I had multiple conversations today, and we are committed to delivering results on behalf of the American people. And as always, I'm committed to delivering results on behalf of my constituents.
Pause it for 1 second. So you understand what she's saying here. She's implying that, like, I had to keep saying to the president, please let me go back to Congress and not have this position because I need to protect our majority. She is so angry about this. She was angry that they were delaying her.
That's what the Times reported, was that she was like, what's taking so long? Oh, yeah, I guess she must be thrilled to be going back to the House.
And here's the other thing. Her position of leadership in the House, they gave that to somebody else. She's not on any committees. So they'll probably bump somebody, but she's going down. She's actually taking a step down. She is so mad. It is delightful. And also, you know, it's clear she doesn't want to be there, so she's up for a challenge in 26.
Oh, yeah. I hope that puts a target on her back. I also liked how Kayleigh McEnany, who's filling in for Hannity, tries to set her up so nicely about how she was the first to endorse Donald Trump. Yeah, this time around. The first time around, she came into Congress as basically a very Trump-critical Republican, and because she has no principles at all except, you know, going after students for standing up for genocide and college administrators, she flipped on that too.
What was the timeline on this? Did this all transpire today? Was it a long and thought out conversation? There's a lot of factors. There's, of course, the key election in Florida on Tuesday. There's Kathy Hochul's part in this. There's the notion that your seat does not have an open primary. So there's a lot of factors. You know, what was the timeline of this? Was this a quick decision or one that was long and thought out?
Well, as you know, Kayleigh, I had my hearing the day after the inauguration. The hearing went incredibly smoothly. It passed by voice, and there's been universal praise for the nomination. The reality is, as Democrats, as we see in New York State, it is totally corrupt. Kathy Hochul started threatening to move the ball on the election date. You see a highly, highly politicized radical left trying to do everything they can to defeat the president. And this is about stepping up as a team. And I am doing that as a leader to ensure that we can take hold of this mandate and deliver these historic results, that we can pass this reconciliation bill, which will have tax cuts, it will have border security, American energy independence, and importantly, I look forward to continuing to hold higher education accountable for their failures, as well as all of my work on the House Armed Services Committee and in the national security space that I have been known for at the highest levels in Congress. So it really came to a culmination today, but it was a combination of the New York corruption that we're seeing under Kathy Hochul, special elections, and the House margin. And look, I've been in a House. It's tough to count these votes every day, and we are going to continue to defy the political prognosticators and deliver victory on behalf of President Trump. And
all right, whatever. Dark Kathy.
It's going to be interesting to see what position she gets in the House leadership. They're going to have to create a new position for her, but that means that she's going to have to share.
Anti-Semitism.
There's enough cravenism to go around, but this is absolutely delightful. So glad to see her personal dreams stifled, although this was a potential Democratic pickup, no doubt. I mean, this is, the Republicans are paying attention to this, for better or for worse. And so that's where we're at. Go vote. Vote in Florida. Vote in Wisconsin. The election is on Tuesday. Not sure what the early voting rules are in Florida, but certainly I know you can go vote in Wisconsin right now. Another day, another Trump attack on basic freedoms. This time targeting Palestinian activist and green card holder Mahmoud Khalil, who helped lead the Columbia University protests. But if you go to ground.news/majority, you're going to see how some outlets paint him as a radical threat, while others call out Trump's crackdown on dissent. The story hasn't changed, but the way it's told completely changes your perspective. The exact problem our partners at Ground News solve. If you like my show, you'll love how their app and website let you compare coverage from across the spectrum with context on how political bias, financial incentives, and even blind spots shape the narrative. Especially with so much of our media being driven by billionaire and political agendas, propaganda has become one of the most powerful weapons today. But Ground News is independent and nonpartisan, only committed to helping us think critically on the news, shaping everything from public opinion to policy. And since I can't cover every single attack on our rights, I've curated feeds that track key issues and trusted sources. This way, I know I'm bringing my viewers reliable information. Go to ground.news/majority or scan my QR code to see it in action for yourself. Because this story is bigger than just one activist being detained. It's about how media bias controls what you see and think. My viewers get the same unlimited access Vantage plan that I use for nearly half the cost, knocking the price down to just $5 a month. Hey folks, don't forget to hit the subscribe button and check out our daily show. We do it every day at 12 p.m. Eastern for about 2.5 hours. We even take phone calls. You should check that out.